Hello, and welcome to my video. My name is August. This is my channel, CSlug67. I usually just make videos talking about whatever I feel like talking about. But I think that I'm going in a direction where I'm going to plan things out a little bit more and hopefully get better at talking and staying on topic. But yeah, welcome to my room. This is my candle. This is some cat grass that I got for my cat, but she doesn't like it. So I might give it to my friend's cat. And I think that's all that you need to know. Like, I'm pretty new to YouTube, to posting on YouTube, and I love YouTube culture. And that's something I talk about on my channel, and I'm making a long video essay about it. But yes, so what I want to talk about begins with the Grammys and then goes into some other thoughts that I have. I've planned it out a little bit. I have a little list right here. I can show you the list, but I haven't scripted it. I am making a different video that I did script, or that I am scripting. It's taking me fucking forever because I'm very obsessed with getting everything in there that I want to say and saying it in a way that makes sense. But in the meantime, I still enjoy talking about crap, so I'm going to. And disclaimer that, so I am going to talk about the Grammys, but it will very much be my thoughts. I'm not going to be talking about like who won and who should have won. It's more about the experience of watching the Grammys. So if you're looking for like a Grammys kind of like review or like my thoughts on what like people won or whatever, like that is not this video. I'm so sorry, but you're gonna have to watch a different video. This video is me talking about my opinions and my feelings about things that happened at the Grammys, but I think it will also talk about my thoughts on culture and like the times. I do want to preface this with like, this is not like a Grammy reaction video. Like, I don't know anything about the Grammys. I haven't watched the Grammys. Like, I don't remember watching the Grammys before. I probably have, but like, I don't know about that. I just have thoughts anyway, because everyone has thoughts, and this is my YouTube channel. Welcome. I will be sharing my thoughts. Okay. I think that was enough preamble. Oh, I just noticed that this plant that I have over here is not doing well. So I watched the Grammys on whatever fucking day that was. Doesn't matter. That's not what this video is about, and you can Google it. And I wasn't planning to watch them, but my roommate was watching them, and the TV is like right outside my room. I don't know why, but I was immediately drawn in. I think also one thing to note is that I've been having some attitude shifts lately about celebrities or like, yeah, I don't know, parasocial shit. You can check out other videos on my channel about that, because I have a lot of thoughts about Dan and Phil and parasocial relationships and hyperfixation, and that's what my big video that I'm making is going to be about. But this video is about the Grammys. But I will say that the realizations that I've been having lately because of my Dan and Phil hyperfixation have led me to think about celebrity-ness as different than I used to. And I think this is like a me thing. Like, I think I am now closer to how other people think of celebrities. But I have like a slightly more positive opinion of them now, because I can see them as like representations of like groups of people, if that makes sense. Maybe not even representations of groups of people, but like symbols that represent thought waves in society. And I think that is really interesting. This is not related, but medical thing going on with me right now is that I fell down the freaking stairs today. It was on my way out to work and I was already running like 45 minutes late. And then I slipped on my socks and hit my ass on the stairs. So I have an ice pack on, and I don't know, I was just like, I should say that. Anyway. I had not watched the whole thing. And the part that I came in during was right before the Quincy Jones tribute started. And Cynthia Erivo and Herbie Hancock did a cover of Fly Me to the Moon. And I don't know why, but that really grabbed my attention, and I just kept being enthralled. But it was great. I love Cynthia Erivo. I mean, I literally didn't know who she was before I saw Wicked, because I don't know about pop culture. But my roommate has informed me that she is like married to Lena Waithe, who I also kind of don't know who that is, but that it was kind of like a scandal when they got together. So I don't know, there's that. I've been thinking so much about editing lately. Like, what does editing do? Basically decides what you see and what you experience in the video. Like, it determines what comes across. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about it too hard, but low-key, it's pretty crazy. I think I'm going to do another video about capitalism and YouTube and editing and how that affects the parasocial relationship and the distance between the audience and the creator and the ways that that distance, I don't know. I do love not editing videos, and I think I do want to keep doing it, but I also really want to learn how to edit. I think editing is important because when you want to say something, you want to make sure it gets across. And while I do think it's a useful skill to just listen to people talk, I think if I want to be heard, then I kind of have to speak people's language. So that's my update to a previous video on my channel, why I love not editing videos. Which you should watch, because I think I make some points. Maybe I will continue to post unedited videos because I like that type of content. But the Grammys. Yeah, when I came on, it was Fly Me to the Moon. I was enthralled. I said something in the moment. I think that I said that that performance was like stealing my heart. And I was just feeling like tingles because of it. So, and then like Stevie Wonder and Herbie Hancock did a song together. There were a couple more memorable things. Chapel Roan won something, maybe for Good Luck Babe. And she came up on stage with what seemed to me to just be her journal, in which she had written the speech that she gave. And I remember seeing a GIF of her before I even started watching the Grammys. I guess it was like of her at the Grammys. People on Tumblr are so quick with the GIFs. It'll be like minutes later, there's a new GIF of whatever happened. Yes, I say GIF. But yeah, I saw this GIF of her saying, I don't even remember. It was something like, I feel like she's taking every opportunity to be like, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be here at all without like so many wonderful trans women. And like, yeah, she's just always finding ways to bring up like, I love trans people. And I don't know, like normally when people make political statements at large events like that, like pop culture events. And again, I can't tell if this is like a shift in culture or a shift in myself. So let me know in the comments below. Is this a shift in culture or in me? But I feel like it means more lately when people make kind of statements like that, because people are being more authentic and letting their true emotions show through in what they say. I didn't even click on this video because I didn't want to cry. But I saw, the moving thumbnail or whatever. I don't remember what app I was on, but YouTube or maybe Twitter. I opened it up and saw the moving thumbnail of like Selena Gomez talking about people getting deported, and she was like crying in the video, and like I didn't want to watch it because I knew it would make me cry. But there's some energy in the air in 2025 that I feel like I could see in the Grammys. And it's similar to the energy of Selena Gomez crying in that video, where basically, like, people, I think, have gotten to a point where it is now scarier to face the reality that we're headed towards than it is to allow people to see you be emotional and vulnerable on TV or the internet. And like, people are at this point where they're willing to say what they really think and how they really feel, because I think we can all feel, I don't know, shit is real now. I think I and a lot of people in my community, like, we're operating from place of like, shit is urgent, like shit needs to be different, and like we need to make extreme changes like 10 freaking years ago. But I think that because of Trump's election and inauguration and all that, and all the crazy shit he's doing, regular mainstream culture is getting to more of a point where more people feel like things are really dire and they need to speak up. And I think that there are a lot of people that have been feeling like this for literally like decades. But I think that it feels to me like there's been a shift since Trump's re-election, I guess, in which like just normal ass people are like, oh shit, it's happening. I don't know how to explain it other than that I feel that energy like in the air. Like, people just, it's like we don't have time or the energy to like try to put on this facade that we've been trying to put on for the last, like, I kind of feel like culture for most of my like conscious life has been pretty, and maybe this is like my family, the people I was exposed to, but I feel like there was a culture of keeping up appearances and like acting normal. Like, there's like a societally okay way to act, and then there's a lot of societally not okay ways to act. And people really cared about that in my spheres and in my life and in what I saw of like pop culture. There's a lot of like fear of being judged for saying the wrong thing. And I think that we're coming out of that era into an era where people are not letting one instance define them, I guess. I don't know if that's it either, but there's something different. And I think like people just don't have the time and energy to hide how they really feel anymore, because literally what's the point of doing that? I think a lot of facades are falling away. I think people are becoming really disillusioned with America. And by people, I mean Americans, because I think a lot of people already were very disillusioned with America. But Americans are starting to realize that America is not what they thought it was. I guess there are a couple more examples. One is that I remember Miley Cyrus just being so silly in her presentations. I'm trying to remember what it was that she said. There was obviously the we won Beyonce. But there was something else that she did that was like hilarious. But like she was just so unserious. I don't know. We were just like able to see celebrities like acting based on how they feel. Like Doechii rolling her eyes at that joke, and like Chappell Roan coming out there with her fucking journal and reading it, and her voice like trembling, and she's so, I don't know. I just remember me and my roommate were like, she's literally just like us for real. I'm on like Din and Phil Tumblr, but like I see the comparisons between her and Din and Phil. Like someone that people can see themselves in, including like the awkward things about them that they think would make them not accepted as like a famous person, but this person really is famous, like extremely famous. And like being so queer and weird and like continuously being herself and like acting like candidly, I guess, and like just being aware that she used to not have the ability to address this many people, and then now she's like, I'm in a position where I can address this many people, and I'm gonna fucking tell them that like this part of the music industry is fucked up. One thing I loved about the Grammys was that there were like so few men. Yes. Yeah, like only Kendrick. Is that true? Like maybe. Didn't The Weeknd do something? Did he win something? Did he present something? He did a performance, I think. Again, I'm not a music commentator and I don't keep up with pop culture, except for specific things that I'm interested in. Like I was interested in Wicked. I wasn't like on Wicked Twitter. I haven't seen all the clips. My roommate had to tell me about holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity, but I do know about it. But I just love Wicked, and I just love Defying Gravity, and like I love that it's about girl friendship and fighting fascism, and I love that Glinda is the villain, and that Elphaba has to choose a path of loneliness and almost like queerness by just being so like accepting herself for being so different than everyone else. And she chooses that path because she knows that it's right, and choosing to become the villain if that is what it takes to be good in a world of evil. Yeah, I love Wicked. I've never even seen the play. I just had this one friend that was obsessed with it, and so I know all about it. But yeah, I guess I went into this with an open heart, and I was able to be like moved by what people did and said. Like I don't know, like for some reason these Grammys really hit my roommate, and I like laughed and like cried and screamed. It was so fun. Oh my god, like Charlie XCX did, I think she did 360. I'm a horrible gay person. Like I didn't even listen to Brat all the way through. Um, but I know 360, and I obviously know who Charlie XCX is, and I've listened to How I'm Feeling Now, and I love that album. But I'm just one of those people, I don't know if this is a thing, actually. I am a person who gets to everything like a few years late. So I'm sure I will listen to Brat, but probably in like 2027. But she did an amazing performance. But honestly, the part that I liked was there was this interview with her. I guess it was kind of an interview. It was like setting up her performance and like introducing her. And it had her talking about the parties, like the Brat parties. I guess they're doing like parties where she's there, but it's like instead of a concert, it's a party. I actually don't know. But anyway, they were asking her about them, and she was like, they're so wholesome. And then it would show a clip of the party, and it's like crazy. And then she's like, no one ever gets hurt or does any drugs or something like that, where she was just like very obviously implying that like it's like an insane event and like people are being like gay and unhinged. But she can't say that on TV, but she can hint at it very heavily. That's another thing that there was a commercial that was either during the Grammys or during the Eagles game. I don't know what it was an ad for, but it was some kind of beer. And basically the whole like ad was it was Post Malone was in there. I've been seeing him in lots of ads lately. He just keeps popping up like in the most random places. But anyway, it was this ad where basically they were like about to drink beer. And then one of the guys was like, you know, you can't actually drink in commercials. So, like, instead of talking about it or like literally doing anything else, they just start counting down till the commercial ends and they can drink beer. I don't know. To me, like, that was so self aware, I guess. Like, directly addressing the law that means that they can't show drinking. And by addressing that law, they actually are able to do the thing that the law is trying to prevent, which is, I guess, make people want to drink by seeing people drink. So they just start counting down until they can drink. And then I I think I was drinking a beer. I think this was at the football game or like during the football game, but like it made me want to drink so bad. Like it just worked on me and it was super weird. I don't know, like they're becoming self-aware. I think that there used to be a culture of like talking around things, and now we're getting to more of a point of like just saying it, just saying what you mean. And I think that's so much better. But it's kind of freaky when it gets to shit like that ad. But like, yeah, just Chaperone going up there and being like, "Hi, thanks for the Grammy, but I'm gonna use this opportunity to say this thing that I think everyone needs to hear." And like so many different artists. Okay, not so many. It was like a few artists were like saying like we stand with trans people or like we love you trans people. And like that shit, it hit me. Like I'm trans and I know that people are against like the insane legislation that's going on in the US right now. But to hear people that people look up to and people know who they are and people respect their art, to hear them say like we love trans people and we're going to stand by you like no matter what, like don't worry, is pretty like important, I'd say. And that's where I think this idea of like celebrities kind of being important is a thing, because it's like there's this weird thing. I think I am going to talk about this in the next video essay that I make, not the one that I'm working on now, but the next one. But like it's kind of like celebrities are like a symptom of like a fucked up system where yeah, some people just get like fame, recognition, opportunity, money, and some people don't. And like the fact that some people are at that level and most people are not is an expression of the structure of capitalism. But those people are still in that position. And like I was saying earlier, they kind of represent the people that look up to them, I guess, or the people, they represent groups of people. They're like figureheads for subgroups of people. And it's like kind of weird that that's how we have to do stuff, but at the same time they're there and like they have this impact and they are like they're like cultural representatives of the masses. Does that make sense? And in this weird way, like it's kind of makes me hopeful. I guess that's not that weird. Like it makes sense for it to make you hopeful to hear like a celebrity that you look up to saying something that's like inspiring, but it's not only inspiring, it's directly in opposition to what our government is saying. So there are like two opposing, I want to say like waves or like ideologies maybe in the US, I guess. I mean, I'm gonna just speak for the US. Like, I don't live in a different country. I live here, but there's obviously the MAGA wave where which we're seeing, you know, it's rising in popularity and like just becoming almost like a disease. But yeah, there's that thought wave where people believe that like where you know it's fascism, you know, people are scapegoating immigrants and trans people and like believing that like people that are like suffering alongside them are the cause of their suffering instead of the people that are at the top exploiting them. Like there's that wave, which is like the growing fascism wave. But then in culture and like pop culture and art in America, I think there's this wave going kind of the other direction of resistance and like authentic expression and being more candid and vulnerable and real and witnessing the insaneness of what's going on and sort of waking up to all of that and like being committed to continuing to create art and think independently and continue growing as humans, I guess, and expanding our like minds and consciousness. It's just like a really freaking weird time right now. I think that on a large scale, people are like waking up, and I don't really know exactly what I mean by that. But people are searching for some form of community, and sometimes what is able to offer them community is like a community built on hate and scapegoating, I guess. That's why I think queer people are so lucky because often we're forced to get good at finding community and like building that and nurturing it and figuring out for ourselves what we want that to look like. And I think something that was cool to see in the Grammys is that like these are all musicians and artists who have put a bunch of thought into developing their self-expression and who care profoundly about artistic and creative expression, and it's like one of the most important things to them and they would never give that up. And they are not because of being the most talented or like the best at what they do or the most groundbreaking, but because of the opportunity that they were given in for whatever reason they were at the right place, right time, like they had the opportunity and they became famous. And so they're almost like these random representatives of artists. And so in a way there's like a handful of us that are like that everyone knows who they are. There are probably people who are similarly talented that don't have the level of recognition that they have. And there is also something to be said for the actual talent that they have and like the ability that they have that these famous people have to like say something that resonates with so many people or that means something to so many people. So yeah, I don't know, like representatives for me is like a really good way of thinking about it. Almost like they were elected for student council. And they also just they got so much money. Like I don't know, like that there's that too. These famous people are the artists that are our representatives. We can all look at them and know who they are and use them as reference points. But celebrities are showing that they are impacted by the shit that is going on. They're impacted by the executive orders that Trump is signing, and they're impacted by the fires. The fires were a big presence in the Grammys as well. I think people feel so overwhelmed by all the different things that are happening right now. And so they'll just end up saying like everything that's going on, which I'm definitely guilty of in this video. So there was a little bit of that at the Grammys as well, just this, but it is kind of still nice to see famous people like acknowledge. Why am I saying this? Oh man. I don't know, people just keep saying like, with everything going on in the world today, and it's like you're left to like guess what they're referring to, and I usually guess that they're referring to like the Trump presidency, the fires, and the genocide, I guess. Man. But it is weird that people won't just say what they're talking about, but it's valid, I guess, because there's way too much bad stuff happening right now. My friend and I, the other day, we were talking about how I've kind of been not tuned in and doom scrolling, and they have. And it was interesting. Like, they gave me like a rundown of kind of everything. I might ask if they want to do a video with me about it, actually. I think it would be a good YouTube video. And I feel like it's good to just say stuff out loud. And yeah, the Grammys is like this too. It's good to see famous people mention just like things are crazy right now. Like now more than ever, people are saying that shit all the time. But just acknowledging in some way the urgentness of whatever they're talking about. Maybe the climate. Like it is kind of weird. Like we're still not quite there where people are still sort of not saying what they're talking about. But there is this energy of urgency that is allowing people to be more candid. And I think that's just going to continue as time goes on, to be honest. And there was this part also, I was really touched by Diana Ross's speech before she awarded I think it was the Grammy for Best Record, possibly, but to Kendrick for Not Like Us. And because he won like 4 or 5 things. She started off by saying like, I think she said like, I've been thinking about how to maybe be in this space where we're celebrating but we're also holding so much grief or something like that. And she wanted to send out like a thought or something to anyone that is experiencing like hardship right now. And then she said, especially the children who might be frightened. I don't know. It was just like she came on and she was wearing this amazing outfit and she looked incredible. And her hair was like, whoosh, and she was wearing like all white and this like, these like sleeves, I think, that like had little like things hanging down. I think I'm so bad with outfits as well. Like don't watch me talk about the Grammy. But she came out and she was so ethereal, and then she was saying this stuff, and she was standing there and she was like being such a diva, and she was like touching her hair and she was like saying this stuff, but she was also so earnest. And so I don't know, she was just so real to me. Like she just was like, this is what energy I have right now. This is what I want to say to everybody. Like, I want to put my thoughts like with people that are experiencing hardship. And I'm thinking about like the children that are suffering in the world right now. And that was an instance where like she was still vague, right? Like she didn't say like, I'm thinking about like the children in Gaza, or I'm thinking about like the children that like have lost their homes in the fires or something like that. Like she wasn't specific, but she was acknowledging and showing that she had thought deeply about the experiences of children in hard situations, and that like because of the long list of things that are going on in the world right now, like one of the things that's happening because of that was clearly on her mind, and that I think that like she wanted more people to really think and care about, was that because of what we've done, children are frightened. Okay. It's the next day, and my phone ran out of storage yesterday when I was filming that. And I didn't quite get to finish, and I also had a couple things I wanted to add. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. New day, new candle. Let's go. So since yesterday, I talked to my friend on the phone, and they're a lot more like on Twitter than I am. They like actually keep up with pop culture and listen to albums when they come out and stuff. And basically, they told me to watch Doechii's performance, and I did, and it was fucking awesome. And I also watched some reaction videos to it, which I can link down there if you want to watch them react. But it was just so awesome. And by the time that I started watching, she'd already won Best Rap Album. And my roommate like told me that as I was coming in. So I hadn't seen her speech yet. And so I watched her speech, and it just, I don't know, like, I haven't felt like this when I've watched award shows before. This isn't like the first time I've watched an award show, but it might be the first time I've watched the Grammys. But this year, I felt like every celebrity that came up that was talking candidly and not doing like, not like Trevor Noah, who was the host, but or like the people that presented, like when Will Smith was talking about Quincy Jones, that was like scripted and whatever, like, or not, yeah, I guess scripted or pre-written, whatever. But when people would come up and talk candidly, I just felt like they were such real people, and that there was like, I don't know, like even though they were like dressed up and it's like a huge night for them and whatever, like they were being themselves and like being authentic, and I felt like you could see them as like complicated people, and this could just be me. Like that could be a shift in me rather than in culture. I wrote that down. I wrote change in culture or in me, because I'm just like much more able to like watch something. Maybe I've been building this skill by watching Dan and Phil, but like watch people talk unscripted and like see part of who they are. And I feel like that is new to me when watching TV. And I don't know if that's true. This would be a good thing for you guys to let me know about. If you make it this far in the video and you have thoughts about, are people more real in 2025? Like, just is everyone just out here like saying what they really think? Um Let me know in the comments below. Because I feel like that's true, and maybe not everyone, but I guess there is, like I was saying yesterday, like a wave right now where like authenticity is just becoming more like common and like appreciated, maybe. Yeah, I just feel like people are so real, and like Doechii was so real in her speech. Just like I felt like I saw like multiple parts of her. I don't know. When I was watching the Grammys, I was just like, I guess I love the Grammys. But when I was watching the Grammys, I remember like immediately I had this feeling of like, this is so magical that like this is happening live and we're seeing it right now, like, and I felt like it was like canon events happening. I felt like it was somehow like important and touching, and it was cool to be seeing it live. But when I watched like Doechii's speech on YouTube today, like it wasn't live anymore, but I immediately, like, that feeling came back of just like being aware that I'm witnessing like something kind of, I don't know, important and like real. Yeah, I'm struggling to find the right like adjectives, but there's something about it. Like there was an energy that the Grammys had this year, and yeah, like let me know if you agree. It actually reminded me of watching recordings of live performances in the 90s. Specifically, I'm thinking about Rage Against the Machine and Green Day. There's this one, I think it's in 1994, this one live show that just has that energy. I don't know, it has this crazy energy, and you can just like, I remember like watching the Rage Against the Machine performance that I was talking about was, I mean, so many of their performances just have the energy that I'm talking about. And I don't know if this is the same energy as was like at the Grammys, but the energy in those was sort of, I mean, yeah, like I did mention before, like the feeling of resistance, or like resistance being part of the art. And I feel like that's been something that's been missing for like a long time. Like bands and musicians that make everyday people feel like excited about like fighting the police, like about being part of a culture that is maybe against the dominant culture, being part of something that is in opposition to what you're maybe supposed to be, being part of something like exciting. It's like that quote. Oh God, I need to look up who said this, but maybe I'll put it in the description. I think it's the role of artists is to make the revolution irresistible. I think that that is true, or that is a role that artists have. Like, not that their art should all be political, I guess, but I think that, like, in today's world, for a lot of people, expressing themselves authentically goes against the dominant culture and against like the people that are trying to erase that same diversity of experience, and wants people to remain kind of like oppressed and exploited. And just by making art that expresses your true self, true feelings, without even addressing, oh man, this is like so hard to articulate. I guess what I'm getting at is like making art under a fascist regime is necessarily a form of resistance. And yeah, when I was watching the Grammys with my roommate, like I was feeling like how I thought people must have felt when they saw like Rage Against the Machine on the TV, which is actually not true. Not because this is not Rage Against the Machine. Like this isn't like literally someone saying fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. But I guess there was this feeling of like when I've watched recordings of old concerts, sometimes I have the thought of like they were so real back then, and like nowadays we wouldn't do something that is like that authentic, I guess. And I've sort of always kind of felt like when I engage in like celebrity culture and pop culture, like it just feels so overwhelmingly fake. That's definitely a feeling that I've had like a lot growing up. Yeah, I've just always felt like celebrities were so fake. And this year, I think, has been the first time that I've been able to look at celebrities and think the opposite and think they're so real. Like they're just like me, which is so weird. And yeah, I don't know if this is a shift in me and my feelings about celebrities, or if it's a shift in culture and like celebrity culture. Yeah, but it's just very interesting to me. Like I feel like people nowadays are more open to believing that people are being real, or maybe I'm just more open to that. Like when I watch celebrities talk, like I feel like they're saying what they mean. And I feel like we've turned the corner from like cancel culture and like people like watching things with the intention of criticizing them, and instead we watch things. My phone ran out of storage again. I had to delete stuff. But we watch things with um more of an open mind and maybe more trust in the people that are saying the things that they're saying, I think. And maybe I should stop saying we. I don't know. Like, I am more open to watching something and having it affect me and having it affect me positively and not judging the people that are involved. I think that's like a way more fun and like healthy way to engage with stuff. Um, and yeah, I think that I've basically said everything that I wanted to say. The energy of the Grammys was different, and again, like I didn't even watch the whole thing, but that didn't stop me from having thoughts and putting them on my YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Um, and yeah, look out because I just learned how to edit on my phone, and I am obsessed with it. It's like so addictive. I don't know why it really like is impossible for me to stop once I start, but um yeah, watch out once I get a computer, like I'm gonna be unstoppable on YouTube. So, all right. Everybody have a great night.